Let's talk about a huge challenge that pretty much every company on the planet faces. How do you keep your best people from walking out the door? It's this constant battle to hold on to top talent. But what if one of the most powerful tools for building that loyalty has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? It's a concept you've definitely heard of, but maybe not in this way. Let's break it down. So, we're going to dive into a massive problem that keeps managers and leaders up at night: employee turnover. And this isn't just some HR headache, you know? It's a quiet killer of resources, of morale, and of forward momentum. It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You hire someone brilliant, they do absolutely amazing work, and then one day, they're just gone. Really understanding the why behind that is the first step to actually solving the problem. And here's why that question is so incredibly critical. Get this. According to the research, the cost of replacing just one employee can be as high as 200% of their annual salary. I mean, think about that. That's recruitment costs, training, lost productivity. It's an absolutely staggering financial hit. So the natural reaction for a lot of companies is to just throw money at the problem, right? Free lunches, ping pong tables, all those flashy perks. And look, those things are nice for sure, but do they really build deep, lasting loyalty? The research we're looking at today suggests there's a much more powerful and frankly more meaningful way to do it. So let's meet the hero of our story today: corporate social responsibility, or CSR, as you've probably heard it called. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but we're going to look at it through a whole new lens, as a powerful tool for keeping your best people. So what is CSR, really? At its core, it's the idea that a company has an obligation to do more than just make a profit. It's about making choices and taking actions that are good for society as a whole. It's not just about charity. It's a fundamental way of doing business. But here's the thing. Doing good isn't just one single action. The research actually breaks CSR down into 4 distinct dimensions. You can almost think of it like a pyramid. Let's take a look at each one. First, at the very foundation of the pyramid is economic CSR. This is about the basics: being a well-run, efficient, and profitable business. Because, let's be honest, if the company isn't financially healthy, none of the other good stuff is even possible. Moving up a level, we've got legal CSR. This one's pretty straightforward. You just gotta play by the rules. It's a company's duty to obey all the laws and regulations on the books, everything from labor laws to environmental standards. It's totally non-negotiable. Okay, now this is where it starts to get really interesting. Ethical CSR is all about going beyond what the law requires. It's about actively choosing to be fair and just, to avoid harm, and to simply do the right thing, even when there isn't a regulator breathing down your neck. And finally, right at the top of the pyramid is philanthropic CSR. This is what most of us immediately think of when we hear the term, right? Donating to charity, encouraging employees to volunteer, and actively using company resources to improve the community. It's all about being a great corporate citizen. So we have this 4-part pyramid of doing good: economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic. Now we get to the big question. Which of these layers, if any, actually make an employee want to stick around? The answer might really surprise you. So to figure this all out, researchers built this model. On the left, you see the 4 types of CSR we just talked about. And they wanted to see how those activities flow through and affect 2 key feelings for employees: organizational trust and job satisfaction. And then, how those feelings ultimately influence whether an employee starts thinking about quitting. And this quote from the study just cuts right to the heart of it. The key finding isn't just that CSR matters, it's that specific types of CSR matter in very different ways. It is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Okay, now I know this chart looks a little complicated, but stick with me because this is where the secret is revealed. Think of those solid lines as proven connections. If a solid line connects a CSR box on the left to one of the outcomes in the middle, it means that activity actually works to change how employees feel. And as you can see, not all types of CSR are created equal. Some have really strong connections and some have none at all. So let's boil it all down. Here's the crucial takeaway, broken into 2 simple levers. If your goal is to build trust with your employees, the research shows you need to focus on economic and philanthropic CSR. People trust a company that's stable and that gives back. But, and this is key, if you want to increase their job satisfaction, how happy they are day to day, the only thing that really moved the needle was ethical CSR, creating a fair and just workplace. And this right here brilliantly illustrates a key point and a costly mistake a lot of companies make. So, what about just following the law? Well, the study found legal CSR had no real impact on how employees feel. And why is that? Because it's the bare minimum. Your employees don't give you bonus points for doing what you're already legally supposed to do. It's mandatory, not motivational. But earning that trust and boosting satisfaction isn't the end of the story. It's actually the start of a really powerful chain reaction, a clear path to loyalty that leads directly to lower turnover. Here's how it works. Step 1. You use the right CSR levers, economic and philanthropic for trust, ethical for satisfaction. Step 2. That trust and satisfaction then directly fuels what's called organizational commitment. You can think of that as the emotional glue that bonds an employee to the company. It's that feeling of being part of the family. And then step 3. Commitment is the absolute strongest predictor of whether someone stays. A committed employee simply isn't looking for the exit sign. So, what does this all mean for you in the real world? This research isn't just theory, it's a secret weapon. It's an actionable playbook for any leader who wants to build a more loyal, more committed team. So let's put it all together. Here is your playbook right here. If you want to build trust, you need to prove you're a stable, successful company and show that you care about the community. If you want to make your employees happier in their actual jobs, you've got to focus on creating an ethical culture where fairness is everything. And always remember, obeying the law, that's just the price of entry. You don't get extra credit for it. So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. Your people can tell the difference. They can feel when a company initiative is just for show versus when it's part of the company's actual DNA. They know the difference between just meeting the requirements and doing something that is truly meaningful. So, which path is your organization on?